thumbs up. Don't worry, you guys aren't even. I'm trying this new like transition thing. So it says that I'm live now. And then when you guys give me a thumbs up, oh, Mary's giving me a thumbs up. We're live. Okay, so now I'm going to watch this next level streaming. I'm going to slowly lower the music, and then I'm going to switch over here, turn on my mic, and we should be live with session 41 of Storm King's Thunder. This session is titled The Fanged Lord. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here, making sure that I actually am live. But before we get into the session, I'm going to give a brief recap of what happened. Unfortunately, Warren, aka Morgan, was not able to make the last session, so he kind of missed most of it. And it's been a little bit of time since the last session, so the party's a little bit fuzzy. So last we left off, the party was leaving Maelstrom with the charge of protecting Sarisha, the Storm Queen. They were in pursuit of the leads of the Golden Goose coin that was found on her dead mother, Queen Neri, the only lead that she had to the mystery of her disappearing father. When they finally teleported away using the Worm Skull throne, they arrived on the coastline of Waterdeep to find the Sword Coast not as they remember it, covered in snow and in a battleground state where many battles have clearly been fought. There was a huge line of refugees waiting to try to get into Waterdeep. This is not normally a thing. Waterdeep's usually pretty lenient with who's coming and going, but there was a massive lineup of people, and they were stuck in the line. Looking around, they seen that there was clear signs of battles against giants. A little bit of time passed, and the city fell under attack again. On the outskirts, stone giants charging through, and a giant known as a dream walker, somebody who has spent too much time on the surface and has become basically delusional, started to phase through the walls with some ability to actually transmute through stone, and took control of one of the legendary walking statues of Waterdeep. The city's defense is all kind of congregated and tried their best to battle this monstrosity towering hundreds of feet high, but the destruction of Waterdeep in certain areas was unavoidable. Nonetheless, though, the party, with the help of the forces of many powerful allies, was able to fell this Dreamwalker and the walking statue. The last that we left off on the scene was a bunch of black-robed individuals surrounding the party. And that is where we're going to pick up, actually, is with these black-robed individuals all donning the mask of a fanged, silvered-faced creature. Kind of reptilian, almost draconic now that you've seen a couple in its regards. And just moments ago, the sounds of destruction, battle, and agony all blurred together in a storm of absolute chaos. Each of these sounds were completely undiscernible from the next. But now, with the creature fell, all you hear is the suffocating silence as these black-robed individuals begin to file around you in a silent circle. You now surrounded in complete rubble from one of the attacks of the walking statue.
We're within city limits or outside the city limits?
You are in the city limits now, and the walls are a good distance behind you. And you see this rubble completely just strewn around. It's like a big line where the arm came down and smashed, and it literally like smashed basically this huge crater through parts of the city. And you just see now, like, in going on for like probably even a mile or so into the city, just the destruction that it caused. And now, as you watch and you're completely surrounded, you see a palanquin, I think it's called, with the open maw of a dragon scorning the group as it looks at you motionlessly, this black obsidian palanquin. And there's a massive rotund individual being carried in on it as several men struggle to lift this big form of a individual, and it finally gets in front of the group, and you hear heavy breathing as the task of this individual leaving the palanquin is apparently laborious to him. And as he finally gets down, the rubble gives way underneath his footfalls, and again that breaks the sounds of sliding rock. And you all hear or not you all, but Warrendale, the hair on the back of your neck, that strange feeling actually. You've had this feeling before in Maelstrom, but you just get this tingling, like a spider. Your spider senses are tingling, and you just get this sick feeling in your stomach, and all your hairs are standing on edge. It's like you're in a defensive mode, and you hear the voice, "Well, well, well, who do we have here?" This man, obviously a very familiar voice to you, Warrendale, but currently wears a mask of a fanged individual. Livy, coming from Waterdeep, you know that this is one of the, I believe it's 9 masked lords of Waterdeep. So there's basically these individuals that wear masks and rule over Waterdeep. Apparently, this is one of them, the Fanged Lord.
Would she recognize the voice too because she's encountered this said person?
Yeah, like if you as a character, if you as a player remember the voice, then yeah, it's a pretty distinct voice.
Yeah. I think she just kind of had this look like they're one of.
Sarissa in her human form is kind of looking around now, like nervously. She whispers to Octavius, "Is this gonna be trouble?" Octavio stares blankly into the sky. "What do you do, Wanda?"
Sorry, I couldn't get to the mute. Sorry, what was that?
Sarissa whispers to you, "This looks like trouble. Are we okay?"
Yeah, we'll see where this plays out. Keep your wits about you. Let Warren do most of the talking until he goes too far.
That always goes well.
The big rotund figure begins to step over parts of the rubble and broken wood and stone and treks his way, waddling forth, each step kind of further, almost like a mini version of the walking statue, crumbles the stone beneath his feet with each step. And he walks up to you, Warrendale, and says, "It feels like just yesterday that I hired you. Must have been down one of these very broken alleyways that I found you here. Broken and beaten, and I took you under my wing. How you been, Warrendale?"
Look around at this. Are we like out where the battle was still?
Yeah, so keep in mind that the battle with the walking statue, this thing literally, I don't know the exact height, but it stands like hundreds of feet tall, like towering over the city. It was like this ancient kind of artifact of times past, but the Dreamwalker animated it to life, and with each arm strike, it just ruined districts of the cities. So you're kind of in a ruined southern district of Waterdeep right now.
Okay. Look at all this ruins and whatnot. Been excellent, my friend, excellent. Couldn't be better.
Well, that's good to hear. You see, Brexlor, he tells me that you made a blood offering towards me. Turns out that I've garnered enough of a workforce that I can start offering benefits to my most loyal employees. You still are loyal to me, right, Warrendale? I wouldn't want these special benefits squandered. He takes off his mask now, and to anyone who's confused, it is Old Snarl, Warrendale's employee.
Rex never met this person.
Yeah, you never met him.
And he was being very defensive of the princess and Octavius and such, and is standing maybe in front a little bit, and he looks at Warren and goes, "Is this friend or foe?"
Well,
Livy says yes.
I don't know if you'd call him a friend, but he's my employer, so I mean,
Well, I like to think that we have a good relationship between me, the employer, and you, the employee. I consider us friends, Warndale, don't you?
excellent then. Why not be friends?
But
Yes.
wait. That woman said that you were her employee.
Ah, that woman is a wench. You really need to hire better staff sometimes, my friend.
How many people do you work for?
Yeah, whoever has enough money. I gotta keep the children fed. But you can see I've been quite busy here, my friends and I.
Quite busy indeed. You see, Brexler told me under good authority that you were on your way teleporting into Maelstrom on the mission I entrusted onto you to uncover what in the nine hells is going on in that little Storm King's kingdom. Yet, to my surprise, here I find you on a little getaway vacation in the City of Splendor. Don't get me wrong, Warrendale, I believe that hard work does deserve hard play. And upon completion of that quest that I sent you on, that would make sense. But with that stone giant having a little field day in my soon-to-be blooming enterprise, it would seem that your job is not quite done.
Working on it now.
What does he think we vacated from?
Livy just kind of leans to her right, just like, this is vacation?
And
Yeah.
Sarissa comes up behind you, Warrentel, and is like, what is he talking about? A mission to Maelstrom? And she kind of looks at you with a bit of concern in her eyes now.
Susan, we have a bit of work to do. Get to the bottom of this. Learned a great many things, Mr. Boss Man, but things like that shouldn't be just spoken out here around everybody. I mean, you don't want everybody getting your secrets. Learning the down low, I'd imagine, because you're a smart man. Perhaps we can have dinner.
You can call this little circle that you find yourself in my circle of trust. Do not worry. I have no fears that anyone here is capable of betraying me. Seeing Sarissa step forth and talk to you, Snarl kind of gives a sniff to the air and says, "Who do we have here? I don't recognize this little beauty. That's a fine little necklace you got there." She looks at the necklace that he has around her neck, which you all would know as the Coronor Scepter, and he says, "I swear, that piece of jewelry looks quite familiar to me. Where'd you get it from, if you don't mind my asking? I would very be interested in purchasing it off you." Sarissa kind of steps back, looking instantly distrustful, and says, "It was a gift given to me from my father. It is invaluable. I would never sell it."
A family heirloom, as you will.
Well, I do tell you that I have more money than you could possibly imagine. And if money's not what suits you, then I have all other kinds of extraordinary things. But family heirlooms are something that I agree is quite irreplaceable. Have it your way, but I didn't get your name, little missy. She looks like she's going to speak up and say, "My name is Sarissa." That's a very nice name.
And at this point, you guys hear me?
Yep.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Freaking mic went weird. All right, so Reich would kind of just stand a little bit in front of Sarissa and kind of do that arm around her thing. He's very interesting of everyone.
Well, you are not the individual that I recognize either. Warrendale, you making new friends out there. Where'd that little kitty cat go? She was quite nice.
Yeah, we lost her a bit too, but that's a story for another time.
And this is the next bright and brilliant adventurer to join your noble cause, is it now?
Hey, stronger in numbers, right?
That's right.
Indeed, Livy it was, right?
Yes.
I'd never forget a pretty face. He blows you a kiss. And this man
Contain
is
yourself, sir.
like a big, kind of like his head is like circular and he has like this double chin like a frog about to croak, and his belly is almost completely ball shaped. And as you look at him, he has all kinds of jewelry adorned on his fingers. Now that he has the mask up, another individual steps beside him that was kind of just behind him and takes off his mask, and you do recognize it as Brexler, the drow individual that gave you a hard time previous.
I just envision Livy. She has the smile plastered on her face, but it's like that Spirited Away moment when Chihiro takes the money from the slime filth god, and just the hair
Just like
rises. It's just like,
Octavius would definitely stand up with the blowing kiss and be like, "Excuse you."
Yeah.
I think it was meant for you, Octavius.
That's more like it.
Oh, I'm sorry there. I didn't know she was taken. No personal qualms here. I'm just admiring art, he says.
And Rick slides up his mask as well. So it's on top of his head. And blue glowing eyes. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
So on
spooky,
and so
he
forth.
says.
And he looks at her at this man and goes, "It's Reich Liviant. Because you asked."
Yes.
And
I'll make note to remember that. Right,
I'm
Livy
sure you
wants.
won't. But what would you have our little friend do here?
Well, like I said, to my surprise, I expected you to be infiltrating the bowels of Maelstrom and figuring out what's going on. Yet here I find you. So I definitely, at the very least, would like a goddamn update on this mission that you've been entrusted with.
Well, I'm currently in the process of looking into things. I've been around the world, as you say, a few times and got a bit of info, but it looks like our trails are leading here to your district. Ain't that weird? But don't worry, boss. I'm on the case.
What is he speaking of?
Warndale, you know that I'm not the individual that likes to play these games. He kind of takes a deep, troubled breath in and exhales. You're gonna have to give me something better than that, because Brexler also told me that one of my treasured wagons happened to go missing, loaded with loot that was supposed to be coming my way.
Oh, that is terrible. Who would do such a thing? Do you guys know who would do such a thing? Octavius?
I've heard of many wagons going missing. I'm not sure what's happening. I think it's an epidemic across the land right now.
This is like the 5th time now.
He smiles and says, yes, an epidemic indeed, but could you imagine, for even the briefest of moments, to my surprise, a big toothy smile now, and even though he's in his human form, you see how feral and fang-bound his teeth look now, and he says, could you imagine, to my surprise, that I found that fairy wagon parading through this town?
You found the wagon, did you?
Mm-hmm. But
One of the 5 missing ones, I bet.
if you didn't know anything about it, then I guess you wouldn't know about the individual that I found on it. He whistles, and you hear someone in the distance just, get off me! And then a copper-headed halfling is dragged out and chucked onto his knees. To my surprise, this little fella, he rubs his head, although we know that he's not too little, isn't that right, Phagolus? Taking on that puny form and parading my wares through town like you're some saint. He pulls the hair and makes Fagolas look at him as Fagolas kind of whimpers.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this, man.
Is
Octavius is definitely starting to like shake a little.
and Reykjavik actually steps kind of around and faces the party away from what's going on and goes, I'm rather confused.
It seems, Warndale, that you have some inter-party discussions to have. I will warn you that I don't like the way those two are looking at me.
I want the halfling.
We all want
What do you
something
want
in
for
life,
him?
Octavius. I want answers. I want solutions. I want something to be done about the issue here. I
And
want
what issue is that?
the goddamn giants to be back in their place. I want the Storm King to be found, and I want him to clean up the fucking mess that he has made in my little kingdom.
I will tell you what I can for the halfling.
Get talking.
We're working on fixing the ordning. And I would go into a very loose, not saying that we went to or made it to Maelstrom, but I would tell of the Oracle. And I would speak of the fight with the giant princess, the giant Serena, I believe her name was, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would explain that we were led here. And I would explain just on a side note that Fagolas to him is just a friend to me, and I'm worried about his fate, and that's all.
That's interesting. So, you do know him. Just moments ago, you were completely oblivious to the little charade that this fella put on, and now suddenly, your tune has begun to change key.
How am I supposed to know who stole your wagon? Could have been him, it could have been anybody, you know that.
I admit that I feel a bit betrayed that you would think that I am as stupid as the words coming out of your mouth. Brexler was there with you, and he is a very loyal lieutenant to me. He seen yous with Fagolas. And now, Warndell, I have to admit my feelings are a bit hurt here. I view myself as a one-dragon kind of man. I don't like to share the attention.
Wait, is
Oh,
this man is a dragon as well?
Seems lately.
I'm not a dragon. I'm the dragon, Mr. Reykjavik.
I met one dragon, and I think it's that little man on the floor right there.
You know,
I
it
don't-
seems to me that this is more of like a dragon issue between the lads of you. I mean, I could care less what this little halfling does, but he's a good friend of my friend, so a friend of my friend is my friend. I'm sure you get what I mean there. But, you know, wagon stealing and whatnot, like I said, it's an epidemic. Perhaps it was this little fella, perhaps it was Brexler. I don't know, but you know what I mean. We don't have nothing to do with that. That is something you should handle on your own, I think. We have, well, bigger, giant, get it, giant things to deal with here, sir.
Handle on my own, you say?
Not
He begins to pick Fagolas up off of his feet by his hair. His little halfling legs are wagging, and he's kind of... He takes his other big, kind of jeweled-fingered hand, and it has these long, like, grossly unkempt fingernails on it, and he puts it to Fagolas' neck. Now, I could handle this on my own, and don't get me wrong. If it was anybody else, Warndell, this little guy would not have made another peep. But I'm a good employer. I like to consider myself. I'm a fair employer. I know that people make mistakes. People blunder. Your friend Octavius, he seems to be the only smart one here giving me answers. I don't know if the time away from these alleyways, Warndale, has made you forget. But I would be very keen to remind you if need be. What are you gonna do? What's your next step? And Octavius, did you hold back information, or did you just kind of open book info dump?
I held back everything about Maelstrom and the princess.
Okay.
Because since I wasn't here last session, what did we come up here for?
We need to meet with Fagolis or Saul to see if he has information about the gambling ship where this golden goose coin is from.
Do we have the coin?
Yeah, I have a coin, and she has a coin from her dead mother.
Do I know you have the coin?
Yes.
I believe you would,
Okay.
because Saul gave it to me last time, or the episode before, and he was like, hey, just if you need me, call me with this thing.
So I think I would, ask for that coin from you then, Octavius. And show it to Old Snarl. We've been told that this has something to do. Perhaps a start of it all, perhaps some sort of origin. And, well, that led us here, and here we are. But we don't exactly know what this is. But a man of your stature, I'm sure you know plenty about it, right? What should we look into from here?
Do you give it to him?
I'd show him. I mean,
Yeah.
if he wants to take it. I mean,
Yeah, he would
Well,
drop.
I'd freak out if you take it.
He would drop Fagolis and say, "Why don't you toss that over here? Let me have a closer look."
I'd like to. I was hoping to get that back.
I have no intentions of keeping your little baubles, my friend.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Flip it to him. Looks at it.
All right. And as
something.
he's looking,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, as he's looking, he looks again at Warrendale and he goes, "So that man is the employer of you and that woman that like helped us at the castle, and when you, right?"
Something along that lines. I mean,
And
kind of like I'm the boss of all you fellows, and you kind of just
no, you're
follow
not.
along.
No,
what you do.
no, you're not Warrendale. And he stands up kind of real tall next to you, and he's way bigger than you are. You know what I mean? And he goes, "You are not the boss, and you're lucky to be alive."
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, I recognize this.
Excellent. Then see, you can point us in the right directions, and we can get to the bottom of this. Me and my large friend here. He likes to
This-
think I'm not his boss sometimes, but don't let that fool you.
This is a coin, a golden goose coin from the Grand Dame out of the Dark District of Yartar. I believe a lord died, and he's gonna forget the name temporarily and look it up. Dryland, I believe it is. Lord Dryland. He's actually, I believe, this election. He just won the water baronship of Yartar. He's now in control of the city, and is a pretty wealthy individual that has a gambling ship called the Grand Dame.
What was his name again, please?
Lord Dryland. You
Huh.
recognize that name, Octavius, whether you as a player doesn't recognize
Very
it
much
or
so,
not.
actually. And Octavius is like proof. Like to him, it's a little bit of vindication that possibly the man who took the place of, the father of my temple, possibly could be the one who killed him.
For sure. So, your only lead is this little golden goose coin in Yartar. Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
Seems to be the case. We should get right on that and go talk to this man.
I think you're right. That's a long walk you have ahead of yourself. Hopefully it's not a time-sensitive thing for you.
Isn't all of this time sensitive?
That was more of a rhetorical statement, my distant friend. You haven't spent much time in the civilized lands, have you? You
And
pharaoh.
he kind of looks around now and he goes, This looks like death. Why do you all live here?
It looked a lot better earlier, probably.
Yeah, well, that big thing that we destroyed did all of this, but all of you on top of each other. Why? There's so much land you could spread out.
Yeah, sometimes we just like to rub elbows with each other.
We need to stay close as a people, so to remember our history too. It's a way of sharing and telling.
Oh, people, like my people, right? That are still here.
Well, if you're gonna get that way about it, yeah.
You should have had a city. You would have been still around longer.
Old Snarl pulls out like a little pocket watch, looks at it, and says, "Well, how the time's going by. If you, Warrendale, and your little gaggle of friends, you find that damn Storm King, so that those big empty-headed fools can get their little ordnance back in working order. You see, as you look around here, it's quite bad for business to have them stomping around, bickering over who they think the biggest one of them all is. But I have things to do, and apparently the masters of this little city here captured that fool that thought he could ruin Waterdeep. I guess, due to some unexpected circumstance, I now find myself one of these masters of this wonderful little villa. We're gonna make that little giant answer for what he's done. He's costed me a lot of money, and I've been thinking of all kinds of ways I can make him pay."
You know, if you give us the halfling, we can be on our way and probably get more information to you sooner.
Sarissa also speaks up and says, "He didn't know what he was doing. He was trying to warn us of something. If you just speak to him, I think he had something important to say." And
We should be going now.
Snarl gives a cockeyed look.
Kind of shuffle it off.
"And you claim to know what he was speaking about, do you?"
Well, I can speak giant. I even knew what he was trying to say. That, you know, I've read it in the books before. He was talking about a nightmare of water washing over the world. It was crazy. I'll
Well,
say that in confidence that it's actually true.
your little friend here, let's call him insurance to the cause. Now,
You're gonna give me that guy.
I know what you can. I know what you think is gonna happen here, my friends, and I know what you want is gonna happen here. But let me inform you first and foremost that what you want and the reality of this situation are gonna be two very different things. He's staying here with me for his insurance, but I will promise you that he'll be under the best of circumstances.
No,
Ain't nothing bad gonna happen to him. Unless you guys don't hold up your end of the bargain.
I need him for more information.
You can ask him any questions you need right here and now, but
I'm gonna scope out the group. How many guys are around us?
about, let me see here, 12.
Got it.
You said nine when you first started.
You guys will see Octavius start to eye up the people around us.
Warrendale, I have a little facade that I'm holding up in this end of the town. As you can imagine, most people wouldn't be too keen if they know who I really was. And I can tell you right now that if you make me break this facade that I have going, and then you ruin this for me, if one of your little pipsqueak friends ruins this for me, that's it. I will destroy each and every one of them, one by one, in front of you while you watch. And then I will obliterate you.
I'd like to see you try.
He smiles.
Octavius is starting to glow a little bit.
And
Just a little. Just a
And-
little.
and Reich slides the mask down over his face. Is still facing Octavius and can see this happening. And goes, I think we should take a walk, my friend. And he goes and he hooks your arm. And starts walking the other direction. I mean, you could do what you're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll probably go with him at first.
How far is this place that we got to go?
Very far.
Well, I understand your insurance policy, but I mean, you must agree that this is all a time-sensitive thing. And exactly how should we get to where we need to go without the means to do so? Our little friend here, he could easily just ride, unless perhaps you have some wyverns or some other dragon we could ride. I mean, we got to get to where we're going quickly, especially if you don't want to lose your facade and have all of this go to hell even faster. I wish to help out the best I can, but I need the tools to do what I need to do. I'm sure you would agree with such importance.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I mean, I'm a little disappointed that I gotta baby you around in this circumstance.
Man, I mean, you carried around what's-her-face and gave her a ship. I mean, the least you could do is give us a couple lizards.
And what happened to that ship? Last I remember, I gave you that ship.
Wentz decided to take control of that.
Delphine, you say?
Yeah, that fell down a mountain, sir, and
You look over at Brexler there too, and she even defied your friend here too. But I'm sure he's already told you all about that situation.
Let's just say that I am dealing with Delphine.
Excellent. Then I'm glad you see it my way. But come on, we got to get a bit of help here.
He starts to play with his double chin, like stroking a beard, but it's his big bulbous chin that he's stroking. And you swear that like a chunk of something, like a piece of flesh or dried skin, flakes off of it on each scratch. And he says, "I'm sure."
Have to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure we can figure something out, Wolandale, but it's gonna cost you. You've costed me so much already, and I'm starting to wonder if hiring you is ever gonna pay off.
Well, we're on the right track. We gave you more information than any of these other folk have. It's not like you're paying me in coin anyway. Seems like I'm mostly paying you. So this is only a scratch so you can further get what you need. I mean, hell, I haven't let you down, have I?
Well, that's very debatable, my friend. Very debatable indeed. But if you did let me down, don't make me no mistakes that you would not be around. So I'm all about giving second chances, even third chances to those peoples that I think are deserving. And Wolandale, I see a lot of potential in you. You taking that blood offering, you know what that can mean for you if you truly embrace it. If you truly embrace the blood of old Snarl here. Just think of how powerful you could become. You could be like Brexler. You could be better if you really wanted it.
Of course I could. But I need that opportunity.
I'm giving you every opportunity that you deserve. You start taking advantage of it. We'll think about making the arrangements for you. You want a dragon? Is that what it is? You want a warmling?
Whatever can get us there the quickest. I mean, I understand you wish to have this little fellow as your insurance policy. But he knows, and he's been helping from what I understand, and he's friends with Octavius, so...
Listen, Fagolas ain't going anywhere. You're lucky he's alive. You know what happens when another dragon tries to steal another dragon's hoard. You're a very smart individual, I think you do know what happens, and this man is lucky to be alive.
So is your man. And he says that very loudly.
He cocks his head. I actually didn't hear what you said. What
Yeah,
was
I
that?
said, so is your man.
So was my man.
Yeah, this little one right here is very lucky to be alive because he got my entire village killed. And I'm the only one left.
He looks at you, Warrendale, in like disbelief as to like why this individual is talking right now. You think I care about your insignificant little tribe, my friend?
Well, I don't care if you care. I'm here to finish the job that you want done so our world can live. That's why we're here.
Mighty noble of you.
And at that point, Reich is catching all the condescending tone and looks at Octavius and says, I don't think you're getting your dragon back. Because this dragon or whatever man isn't going to give him to you. I'm going this way. And you go pointing in the direction that we came into the city in. Because whatever we need to do isn't here. And he literally begins to walk away.
He has a few anger issues. Don't mind him too much.
Because you got my village killed, Warrendale.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
As he's walking.
Old Snarl says he has things to take care of. He's gonna go punish this little stone giant that made his way into town. If you have any questions for your friend, now would be the time to ask them, because he's coming with me. He's gonna be my little VIP guest, we could call it. Stay at the old Snarl Inn.
I think you should just hand him over.
I think you're beginning to annoy me.
I think that your reputation is more important to you than him.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
You're gonna get yourself killed by a fucking red dragon. Over a goddamn little halfling. What the fuck, dude?
That's a 23, man.
23, I actually think is a success, but let me just double check, because this guy is absolutely disgusting. Where's this stupid thing? Where's the DC? Yeah, you succeed by 1. He says, I think you should shut your mouth and not speak again. And he was trying to cast suggestion on you, but you overcome it. It's your choice whether you choose to open your mouth again.
I think that we should be able to come to a deal where I at least can speak to the halfling in private for 3 minutes.
He throws the halfling to your feet, which is like a good 10, 15 feet, just hurls him, comes tumbling into the rubble, barreling into pieces of wood and stone, and rolls up to your feet, a little bit scuffed up. Says, you have 3 minutes.
So as I go around to pick up Saul and heal him for 45 health, just by using my preserved life thing, and I'd be like, hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. Sorry. Looks like I got myself into a little bit of trouble here. He is so pissed.
I know. Jesus, he stole the wrong wagon this time.
But it was so,
listen,
it was so beautiful.
I need a little help, man. Remember this coin when you gave it to me back in the jar?
Yeah, that was a great time. Remember that time that we drank that fire whiskey?
Oh, that was pretty rough. Did you ever give a coin to anybody else, man?
No, what do you mean?
Like, did you ever give a coin to like the Queen of the Storm Giants or anything at one point?
No. That coin is like the currency of the Great Dam. When you go on there, it's like a little chip. That's how
so it wasn't something that you actually like give out as a normal thing?
Nah, I just thought that since we shared that moment on the ship together and I had a couple in my pocket, you know, I don't know, just pass it off to you. I thought it was cool, and you seem like a good guy, so I put a little enchantment on it to track you. But
Remember that guy who gave us the fire whiskey?
yeah,
What was his name?
like dry land, Caspier Dryland or something like that. He's a weird kind of guy, but free booze is free booze. Am I right?
All right, and then I'm gonna cast Death Ward on him as I say, "Good luck, Saul. Hopefully we'll be back for you, buddy."
Oh, don't worry. I've gotten myself out of worse circumstances.
Shaking his head, I'll just walk away.
Is old Snarl still there?
He just kind of gave you distance, but he's not walking away. Sarissa's gonna speak up and say to you guys, all whispering, that Dreamwalker, he was warning of something. You guys, I know you don't understand the dynamics of giant culture, but that is not normal. That individual, stone giants do not just roam the surface area. Something is very wrong, and even though he was basically lucid, I don't think he deserves to be killed. To which, it's up to you how you reason that. Technically, the giant did kill like hundreds of people. You don't understand. When stone giants come to the surface, they don't really understand it as reality. They think of it as like a dream world, and when they get stuck up there for too long, things just become stuck in a nightmare.
Sir, this is Snarl. He's supposed to be like a super tough dragon. If you want to take him on, we can, but I'm not sure we're gonna be able to make it out.
I don't want to take him on, but maybe if we can just talk to the giant, the stone giant, I could at least help. He did so much. He did so much.
I just look at Warren at that point and be like,
Let me see what I can do. Maybe. So they captured a giant last session, is that right?
So yeah, there's what's called a Dreamwalker, which essentially Sarissa explained as a stone giant that spends too much time on the surface.
Okay.
And they basically become like they do look at the surface as a dream world. So when they spend up there, they feel like they're trapped in a nightmare. So this one was calling out for Scoreus, and charged into the city and took control of a walking statue, and he was kind of yammering on about things. I don't know if anyone took any notes on it, but I could backtrack if
was he controlling the statue?
Yeah, so he
That's
had this
the one with like a park castle and stuff.
He had the ability to any stone that he touched, he could basically absorb. So he just absorbed the massive walking statue and became it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was yammering on about how a Kayalathilica wants to destroy the dream. She wants to send out the dream devourer and free it from its shackles and ruin this paradise, stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Kayalathilica, sorry.
Old Snarl. You've done more than we could ask for, but I do have at least a couple quick questions if you might give me just a moment more of your time, sir.
Mm-hmm.
One, this young lady we brought with us, she's a bit of a, what you call a giant connoisseur. One of those folks that like to study up on them and stuff. She thinks that this fellow you wish to speak with, this other giant, might have a few words. Perhaps she could speak with him briefly. So you can do what you want with him after that. I personally could care less, but one more goal, one more step in what we're trying to accomplish here. 5 minutes of his time couldn't hurt.
I mean, if it would please your little lady friend to speak to this giant, then by all means, you can come along for the ride. And it's going to be a few of us, a couple of the masked lords, and then the open lord of Waterdeep. I believe even old Blackstaff is going to be there. You know, for extra precautions.
Excellent. Be quite a sight, I'm sure. Yes, yes. But she wishes to at least have a few words with it and perhaps learn something. And, well, if that points us in the right direction, it's a win-win. Also, do all these other dragons like yourself have a conundrum, have issues with these giants? Because it seems one of the other fellow friends keep getting mentioned here and there.
What are you talking about?
I don't know its name. Trapped us in back when we spoke with the giant god fellow and attacked and some ancient blue dragon. Called you a few names, but I won't want to repeat such things. And that's really just me not remembering exactly what you meant to call its name, but
I'm gonna say that you, Warrendale as a player would probably, or as a character, would probably remember the name as Imrith.
That's it, yes. I just found it a bit weird that it was there at the places same time as us, and it didn't seem to give two shits about you.
You're talking about Imrith, the so-called Doom of the Desert. Dragoness of statues. You're saying she has crossed paths with you?
Made me think about it, seeing this statue walker walking around and doing its thing. Apparently it was more on the giant side, but
I mean, giants and dragons have been enemies since the beginning of time. I don't think that any giant necessarily gets along with any dragon. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, though. I'm not really sure what Imrith's up to. She's kind of been off the radar for a bit. No one's really heard much from her.
It seems like she's cropping up, but perhaps it's nothing. Like I said, I just seen this statue walking about, and it reminded me of the whole thing. But her name was mentioned, and she did show up and have a few words and try to kill us. But then again, that's what dragons do, I guess.
I guess that's what we do. But yes, if it would please the little missus, feel free to come along. We're going to be taking a trip to the castle district. That's where the lords and the lordesses are all kept up and eager to see retribution brought upon this giant that has done so much damage to our noble city. Come this way, I'll walk you through. And he would spend a couple moments talking to some of the individuals, and a wagon would be fetched for you, and you could hop on the wagon and brought through town. I'll just pull up a map of Waterdeep just for shits and giggles. Not that it really matters, but for something to look at, I guess, is the map of Waterdeep, which I believe, just double checking, is showing up on the stream. Indeed. All right. And yeah, so is there
really there?
What's that?
The Reich isn't really there.
Reich isn't.
Like I said, he walked off, and he's as I said.
Don't get me wrong. You weren't allowed to leave the inner circle. If you wanted to leave the inner circle, that would be a whole issue we'd have to deal with right now. Yeah, you're surrounded by his men, and if you try to walk through, they would impose themselves upon you.
So that happened, and he kind of looks back at the crew. He looks down at them, and he goes, "Different circumstances. This would be different." And he goes over and he does sit on some rubble that is far enough away that he feels like he's not really a part of it. And he does look like he's talking. And the whole time he was talking to himself. He's talking into his wife. Talking. That's a whole word. He's talking to his wife. Outwardly even, because he does.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, a wagon would show up, and everyone would kind of expectantly like, "Hey, come in, old Reich."
And he begrudgingly does get up and gets in the wagon. Kind of presses somebody sits on it.
Absolutely. Then you are brought, and let me just see, is there, as you're brought through the different districts, if there's any, like, kind of, quick things you would like to do. Old Snarl says he could take care of it for you. I mean, you're gonna have to pay, but... And then if you get
How much would it be to pay to make sure family's okay?
that would be free of charge for you, Miss Livy.
You.
And yeah, he'll as quickly he'll get the name of your parents, and you kind of like second guess yourself now, like giving out that information, but it's too late. And
Yeah, I feel like she totally just goes list off their names. It's like, but she just lists, but she stops short of her parents' name. Not that it'll save her siblings much, but yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to go look up their name if you really want their name, but yeah. Anyways.
No, for sure. Before you even reach the castle ward, like his messengers are efficient. He has a web of people in this city, and yeah, they're doing great. They weren't even near, because this thing happened in the southern ward. So your parents, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, were a bit wealthier, or at least middle class, so they weren't really holed up in this area. So they're completely fine and doing well. I think they like run like a little invention shop or something like that. Business is still going good, he says. You guys are brought through the streets of Waterdeep, eventually making your way out of the rubble and destruction of the southern ward, and up into the castle ward, which is kind of obviously there's a lot more like high-rise cathedrals and castles and nobility and such that go on here, and you're brought through the absolutely massive cobbled streets. It's probably impressive for you to actually behold this, right, or maybe not. I don't really know how you take it, but it is like a labyrinth of buildings and industry around you, the likes of which you probably could never have imagined. And there are so many people in the streets going about their business in busy different ways, so many different smells and sounds. Even moments ago, it takes you maybe like an hour or so to get to the next ward, but as you're making your way from the destruction to the other ward, it's almost as if people have already like forgotten what has happened in certain districts, and they're just going about their day like as if nothing has really happened. Obviously construction workers and whatnot are heading out into the distance, and like they're going to deal with that, but business has not been stopped by any means in Waterdeep. Business must go on, and it is doing so like it always does, in a very busied fashion. Eventually you're brought forth to Blackstaff Tower, I believe it's called, and there's like this kind of a massive courtyard and a council of people. The masked lords of Waterdeep are all gathered here, and as you're in the carriage with Mr. Snarl, old Snarl, he you understand, for appearances I must don this mask again. It's a little tradition that we keep our identities sealed. So let's just keep that a little secret between us. He smiles one last time before putting the mask over his face, and it's a very snug fit. And now that you kind of see him, there's actually like his chin kind of overlaps the mask itself, not fully covering his face. They pull you into the courtyard, and you see this stone giant just imprisoned in glowing runic arcane infused chains from the imprisonment spell. There's wards all around him, and he's just trying to clearly rash about and like yell out in agony as the chains are burning into him, but no sound escapes his area. And there is individuals with staffs kind of gathered around, channeling this magic and keeping him locked down. Silverhand, the open lord-ess of all of Waterdeep, basically the main ruler, would call out to Old Snarl and say, "Greetings, Fanged Lord. We've been waiting for your arrival last, to discuss what the next move here is." Cloth speaks up and says, "Apologies, Miss Silverhand. I got caught up in the hustle and bustle of the city, you could say. My ward in particular was definitely bombarded by this intruder, but I brought some friends, an individual that says she is a astute colleague of giant studies, and she has warned me that this individual that we have captured brings grave warnings of things to come. Vajra Blackstaff steps up, this kind of dark-skinned individual with frizzy, kind of wavy black hair, a very cold and calculated face, adorning these black gold filigreed robes and this impressive staff that is the black staff itself, a very powerful magic artifact, the likes of which is like legendary. And she says, I'm quite aware of what this giant is. Speaking of, he won't stop rambling on about it. Apparently, he believes that the giant lord the giant Thane of the stone giants, Kaelithica, wants to end the world, and she wants to do so by setting forth a dream devourer, whatever that means, onto the world to swallow it whole. Does that make sense to you, Miss? I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. She stares at Sarissa and almost like sees through her. Sarissa, now seeing all these small folk individuals gathered around here of clear importance, seems to have instantly like regretted her decision to come here, and kind of backs up into the wagon and says, on second thought, guys, maybe it's best that we just get out of here.
Okay. And then Octavius would rush Sarissa out the door. And like away from the wagon, like we're on our way, we're going. See you later, Cuff. See you later, Snarl, whatever the fuck you want to be called today. I would actually say his name. Be like, see you later, Snarl.
Snarl steps in front of both of you before you could do such a thing, and say, "Oh no, this is my friend Miss Sarissa. I didn't get her last name, but don't be shy, my sweet little thing. Come on in. I'm sure that your studies will have paid off and will unravel some of the mystery here." Kind of not pushes her, but imposes himself. There's no escape now in the courtyard. What is everybody else doing?
I'll stand up beside her. Perhaps you can at least explain to these folks what this dream devourer is, and then we can be on our way. It seems that seems the confusion. Only take a moment of our time, my dear. You can tell me and I'll tell them if it helps you. I'm not shy.
She takes a deep breath and collects herself, taking on that. You see it in her face. She switches to a bit of unconfidence to the confident leader that you've seen in Maelstrom, and she will collect herself and walk over and go to talk to the imprisonment, to which sound doesn't carry through, and she awkwardly kind of looks to Blackstaff, who taps her staff a couple times and releases the silence that is over him. And she begins to speak in Giant, who understands Giant here.
I do.
All right, just Octavius. She would speak out, my friend. My name is Sarissa. I'm an ally here. Please be calm. I know that you're very confused. And you see Blackstaff and a couple of the other casters speak some arcane words and do like a gesture or something, and then their eyes kind of like almost flicker, and then suddenly they're almost like astutely kind of studying the conversation. They definitely casted some kind of spell.
Would Livy protect? Because Livy knows how to like cast speak language or comprehend language. Would she recognize this spell?
Absolutely. That's 100% what they just casted.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, and just kind of watching, and then decides, maybe I should listen in too, and so she'll cast that and follow suit.
Yeah. So he booms out. Kaelithica, she will destroy this dream. She will ruin it all, bringing forth the dream devourer who has been shackled below. You do not understand what it will do to this world. It will turn it into a nightmare. Free me! Free me! He begins to yell. Trying to pull himself out of the imprisonment, but it's a strong spell that he has little to no hope of breaking out of. She calmly speaks again. My friend, you must be calm. Speak to me. I know who Kaelithica is. I know that she is a powerful Thane from where you probably hail from. Is it her who exiled you to this life? He yells, "You know nothing! The Dream Devourer will be freed!" Not really making much sense. Speak to me, please. Tell me, what is this Dream Devourer? And he kind of, eyes flip over in its sockets as he, just trying to think about it, begins to convulse. He'll try to make a save and see how he goes. Yeah, he's, get away from me! You cannot help me. You are not real. None of this is real. And he tries to kick at her, but does not do so. And, old Snarl, behind his mouth, would come up behind you, Warrendale, and put his arms around you and say, "It appears your friend here isn't, quite as good with the giants as she thought she was."
Doesn't seem that way.
Well,
What do you think this devourer is?
I'm not too sure, but what do you think? You think she'd have a better chance if she was feeling more like her true self?
Maybe, but that's not my business.
It's not mine either, but I like to make things that aren't my business my business.
It only complicates things further. I mean, we already have enough issues at hand. It doesn't really need to get any worse, does it?
Let me see if I can simplify this matter then. He whispers to you. You begin to hear him. Let me just see here. Speak some arcane words and gesture in the air also, drawing forth some somatic components of a spell. Do you do anything? Not that I really know if you can.
Like I say, I don't know if I'd even really recognize what he's trying to do.
You can make an Arcana check to see if you recognize the spell as you cast it.
Let's see. 17.
Yeah, you recognize it as a Dispel Magic. And he channels that spell on to Sarissa and says, "I'm sure she'll have so much better luck if she takes on the nobility form that I know she desires." And then suddenly she bamfs out of her humanoid form and begins to grow and grow and grow into her true storm giant form, standing over 20 feet tall in the middle of this courtyard, now towering over everybody. There, it's simplified, Warrendale. You thought you could hide that one from me, didn't you? You don't think that these eyes see everything? What's Octavius
At this point,
do?
Octavius attacks Snarl immediately. Destructive wave.
Whew! That's a bold move, Cotton.
I don't care, man. I'm gonna out him in front of everybody.
Alright. Go for it. What does he need to do?
I don't know. I'm gonna roll this shit. DC save, con save 15.
Alright. Con save 15. Yeah, he saves.
Oh my god, I have like 6 hit points, dude.
So he takes half of that.
Sorry, you can take a short rest. Let's actually take a quick 5-minute break. And you guys can short rest because you would have had a short rest between between the rides, so you can roll some hit dice if you have them. I'm gonna get another drink, so let's take like a 2-minute break, and then we'll resolve this because this is not where I thought this was going, but here we are.
Awful idea. Anyway.
Yeah, 5-minute or like literally 2-minute break. I just need to get a drink, and we'll see how this plays out.
What can go wrong?
What could ever go wrong with a fucking attack? Really? What are you doing, you weirdo?
I love how I go inside real quick to grab a snack, and I come out, take a quick break. I just needed to wait like 30 seconds. Just fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but he's a dick.
Hey, play your character the way you did, the way he'd be done. I'm not denying that. But yeah, Rake was like way almost dead.
Yeah.
Remember,
We'll see what happens.
I remember Whiteout too. He was the one that went over and fucking took a full shot from that goddamn thing. And then killed him, but
I'll be right back.
oh my gosh. What are you doing right now?
Run to the bathroom real quick too, I guess. What's everybody else's?
So we're gonna spend the next hour taking off Dragon. The Dragon.
Yeah, like the death of all of us.
Right.
All of them, every single one of them. Because like I said, I had 6 hit points, literally.
You did.
I would have been really dead. That's all right. Now I'm at 9 gone, so that's way better. Let's just hope. Let's look at my other tab. Do I have any rage left? Hopefully. Oh, I do. Good. Thank you. I've got a thing I'm gonna do when we come back. Simultaneously, like as that is that. Let's see if it'll look good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm back.
Welcome back.
We just turned this RP session into a TPK session.
TPK.
You pushed me too far, motherfucker. Just kidding.
That's fair.
Now, to be fair though, like I felt like Livy when like when he was asking the Sarissa, she was kind of like, well, we're probably gonna take this sucker down, but it's like at the same time that's not a very bright idea either. But Octavius has now made the first movement. My God, she's gonna stand by his side and be like, well, go big or go home.
I like
We'll
it.
see if
Right.
I like where you guys are going with this. Let's see how it plays out. Is everyone back? No, Corey's not back yet. Cool. See that we had a couple people hanging out in the stream today. Thank you for watching, anybody who was doing so.
So, yeah. I got a thing that I want to do.
All right, so we're all back. We're all ready to go.
Get out of there.
I picked up a spicy Caesar for this encounter because this is going to be a spicy encounter.
Like my chocolate.
Gonna get us killed, Octavius.
Yeah. So, as we jump back into this, Octavius, having enough of Old Snarl's games, you see him releasing the releasing the polymorph form of Sarissa, which instantly throws everyone around Blackstaff and Laurel Silverhand. I probably just bombed that fucking pronunciation. So, but everyone just instantly goes on to alert, drawing weapons, pointing staffs at Sarissa, who just bamps in front of them. You spin around with the radiant rage in your eyes and release a destructive wave, which, first of all, we need to look up the description of, because is that like an AoE, or do you have control over it? Do you know?
No,
You
I just fucking
strike the
kill everybody.
ground, creating a burst of divine energy that ripples out from you. Each creature that you choose. So who do you choose? Obviously, only him.
Unless Snarl has any of his little fanged buddies with him, that's the only guy I want.
At this point, his fanged buddies are not by his side. They kind of, this isn't really a meeting for them, so they're kind of in the back.
And I'm just all about fucking him, man.
All right.
I want Dragon coming. I want him to show everybody what he really is.
Okay, then that energy bursts forth, rippling through the ground towards him. A light of like this kind of flying V like light cuts through the ground, rippling it up, and then bamfs right into the side of him. His billowing cape just almost gets ripped off and does rip parts of it. How much damage does he take?
He takes half of 28 plus 17 is 45. Half of 45.
Half of 45 is 22. 22 damage onto Klauth. Because he's Klauth now. And you won't like him when he becomes Klauth.
Fucking ready.
To your dismay, though, he just calmly and carefully puts his hand up to his mask and just poof, the radiant energy slams into him, kind of creating this holy light that just kind of all comes cascading towards him, and then like a brick wall hits him. His cape just billows, shooting forth in the opposite direction of where the light hit. He holds his hand up, just calmly holds the mask for a moment, and then the wave is gone. He looks over at you. You can't see him through his mask. And he says, well, this is going to be interesting. And that is where everyone's going to roll initiative.
Fuck, I'm coming. I'm coming.
No, what are you doing to us?
I will say that Octavius is going to try to pull out all the stops, boys.
Alright, let me get everyone in here. The Fanged Lord is in the initiative, I think. Let me just roll this here, and yeah, he's at that. So
Why didn't anybody else use hit dice?
nobody else did? Whew!
No.
Y'all making it nice and easy on me.
I got a 16 plus 3 for 19.
19, are you on? Are you on? No, you're not on Fantasy Grounds. Oh, you are on Fantasy. Are you on Fantasy Grounds?
Somehow-
No.
No.
No,
I
no,
took
no.
down my stuff because things were flickering earlier and I was just getting worried about my computer.
All right, yeah. Give me a second here. I gotta pull in a couple more things because I definitely wasn't ready for this encounter. We're just gonna pull in a single guard, and the guard is gonna count as multiple guards because there is guards around. And
I want everybody fighting clothes. I'm fucking coming.
okay.
Coming.
So the first person to act as we go to the top of the round is Silverhand herself. $10 to anyone who can actually pronounce that first name. What is it? Laurel,
maybe?
Laurel Silverhand.
Oh.
She's a very prominent character in the Forgotten Realms lore, and I'm sorry that I'm butchering her name, but Laurel Silverhand is the first that is up. And she, seeing Sarissa, is going to power word stun her. And is Sarissa in the... She is in. So, power word stun needs a constitution saving throw on Miss Sarissa. She fails. She's stunned. And she says, by the power of the Council of Waterdeep, I command you to not move! And she stamps her staff into the ground, and Sarissa is stunned. Next up is Livy.
Excellent. Alrighty, fancy name lady is who Livy will take aim on as she shoots out to both.
You're going to shoot at Silverhand.
Yeah.
So Livy would know this, just so you know, as a player, that this is literally like the leader of Waterdeep, like the biggest honcho of Waterdeep and one of the most powerful casters in the world.
Fair enough. The idea that I have coming from is where it's like she's Octave's been first move, and it's like let's go after Snob, but then it's like maybe try and knock the concentration out of Silverhand. But that is a very good point. She's a very holy crackers.
There's no right or wrong answer here. I just want Mary to understand the gravitude of the situation, so that Livy understands the situation. Because Livy does understand. Like these are.
I'm curious. Actually, I have a thought. So since the arrows are pretty much whatever element kind of damage, what if she did like an air arrow where it doesn't necessarily do damage, but it could potentially knock her concentration?
Yeah, like it would do damage. Like unfortunately, you can't really like nerf the damage, but you could try to break her concentration for sure.
Well, yeah, we're going with that.
All right.
We're going to do it, thunder, air, whatever.
All right.
And let's see, we got a 4 plus whatever, and a 12 plus whatever. I want to say she has an 8, so 20 on the second hit.
Double checking. You have a plus 10 with Maiden's Garden.
I got 14 and 22.
14 and 22. Yeah, she just casts shield as a reaction and blocks all that.
Yay! Lily's like, shit.
Sarissa's now up, and I feel
like she might actually call out to her. It's like, she's not the enemy.
All right, yeah, you can call out. And as you call out, then we'll resolve that in a second. But I've actually never used power words stun before. Otherwise, but has no hand. Okay, then at the end of each of its turns, yeah. So Sarissa can try to break free. And she also is like, you don't understand. I don't mean any harm. And she fails her saving throw. Black Staff, Vajra is now up. And she is going to say, you claim to be not against us, yet you fire attacks and bring a giant into our settlement. And she will hit you, Livy, with Bigby's hand. And bring forth and try to grapple you with it. And
No, not strength checks.
Yeah.
Not strength checks.
Yes, ma'am. The attempt to grapple a smaller creature in the hand uses its strength score. So I am learning about so many spells here on the fly.
Acrobatics check instead.
Sure can't. And it gets a plus.
Well, I got a solid 9 on that roll, so
Yeah, you're grappled, and she is going to pick you up with Bigby's hand.
I only attack because I want you to stop holding my friend. She is not the enemy.
Reglivians, what was going through the big barbarian's mind?
Oh shit!
So Reich was still just sitting on the back of the wagon, not a part of this whole thing at all. So the sound of the energy hitting old Snarl shakes him, but it does shakes everything around him as well. And he just is kind of looking over his shoulder, spectating what's going on right now. And I'm going to take the dodge action and not attack or anything.
Oh, you know it's desperate means when the barbarian's the one with the course of reason. All right, the Fanged Lord himself is up, and he says, you've been a very naughty little cleric, haven't you? I think it's time that we send you for some reconciliation. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what I'm going to say. And I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
I said, okay, I think I'm scared now because it's a little terrifying when the dragon doesn't even know what's happening.
You're
Ooh,
gonna
bam
get-
for 23.
you're
You
gonna
are
get
literally
control
so fucking lucky. The save is 22. Yeah, you are making it. He just tried to banish you. I don't know if you would know that, but maybe one of the casters would. But
I would
you,
feel from the all matter power that's been instilled since I've been chosen. I would have felt that. I would have been like, ha 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 ha. You have no idea.
And then on the end of his turn, he's going to use a legendary action and move up to you and punch you in the throat as you're laughing. And he rolls a 36 to hit
Oh, that'll do
No, that misses clearly.
and punches you for 39 damage.
it. This is a funny Python type. Alright, I'm in. I got throw punched.
Are you still up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
fuck
you're good. Here, I'll drag the damage onto you. All right, Warrendale, you're now up.
Warren looks around at all of this. It is. Where the hell did the barbarian go anyway?
Look back, he's sitting on the wagon, just like tranquil. His legs are like literally crossed as he's just probably like enjoying this all go down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, legs are crossed. He's kind of been meditating to Lauren, and just not really a part of it. But again, he took him down. Yeah.
Be ready to move quickly. And it won't snarl, throat punching my friend, and he'll actually just start to walk out into the middle of this. He looks at Layrel, I hope that's her name, Vajra, this almost sad, almost disapproving, a very, like your parents look at you when you do something wrong, and just look at them, spit on the ground. A bunch of leaders of a city are all just plain fucking fools. Since we bring people here, we try to help you have peons as you're pissing around in the city, half of it getting destroyed because the Red Dragon can't get off of his fat ass to do anything. And you leave it to people like us to do something. We're here to help, and you still fuck it up. Says, to be honest, I don't really care what happens to the city. You can all battle it out, you can fight your own battles, but all of us have come much too far to simply let you ruin it. I mean, for these so-called great warriors and great spellcasters, people ruling over the city, you're not even rulers, you're just pathetic imbeciles. At least that is what it looks like here. Do you really think that we'd brought you here to destroy you? Are you that stupid?
Layrel.
You're muted.
Yeah. Silverhand would step forth and speak to you and say, I do not know who you are, my friend, but you speak with much hatred and angst in your voice. We have not initiated anything, and even as your friends here attack us, we have not
No, we
caused
do not
any
attack
damage.
you. You attack us. Your Red Dragon friend, Old Snarl, perhaps you don't know who he is, perhaps you do. That doesn't matter to me any. He is the one who tried to pick a fight here. He is the one who made this one person who might be able to help reveal herself. You are the ones that immediately stunned her. We were simply trying to defend her, to try to stop him from ruining the situation.
Klaus, as you know him, revealed an entity that we are currently at war with. Yes.
Are you not at war with dragons too?
Of course. But
Well,
are
then,
you so
okay.
blind to
You think he
believe
would
that
just come in
everything is
here?
black and white?
Of course not. But do you think he would just, come here to make this interesting? He said he wanted to make it interesting. He would knew that this is what would happen. He's only taking out his hatred and hoping the rest of you would join in line. I would expect much more of people like yourself.
And you think that if he knew what would happen here, that perhaps you are playing into his hand right now at this very moment?
Exactly. And so are you.
We have done
And
nothing.
he works for them.
We have done nothing.
Right.
We mean
Ghost?
no harm. Your friend, as you call her, and as I believe her to be, Sarissa, daughter to King Hecaton, is under no harm. When a giant appears forth in the center of the castle ward after another one just basically could have destroyed this whole entire city, surely you must understand that caution is needed.
No, I do not. Not when she is here to help, and not when people like yourself should know of such things. Why would she come here to destroy and wreck this when she's trying to help this giant? You were listening to her words. Couldn't you tell that she was trying to help? Were you just not listening? I saw you cast your spells. If you would have known, perhaps the others knew as well who she was. That doesn't make a bit of difference. She was here to help. And just from her words, you would have heard that.
And you knowing her name is not evidence enough. She's
I know many things, but I do not know.
Which should be able to help us.
I know.
We're trying to fix ordning, and we need to find him.
Now, in terms of combat, obviously 6 seconds has passed. So unless everybody else wants to continue fighting, I'm going to assume that time kind of stands here as we parlay. Is everyone okay with that, or does anyone want to make an action? Because everybody else would have been holding actions right now. So everybody gets a chance to say whether they're holding actions to talk this out or to continue going.
Reg Olivia is still sitting, looking at he's meditating, not being a part of any of this horseshit.
Ready to dodge at any moment.
Yes, ready to fucking run away like a bitch.
Octavius?
6 HP, y'all. Bye.
Warren would actually look at
This
you,
is not
Octavius,
his
with
fight.
that
Period.
pleading sort of look just to wait and let him deal with this.
Yeah, Octavius is definitely like has his hammer above his head, but he's channeling radiant energy through the handle and up through the head of the hammer, but he's kind of got his eyes on Warrendale, and he's paused in mid action to listen to the speech. But yeah, like if nobody listens, I'm ready to go.
Lyrel will walk up to you then across the tension-filled courtyard and cross her arms over onto her chest and say, clearly, there has been some form of miscommunication here, and this is more deep-rooted than this very moment in time. I know many things, but I do not know why the giants are at war with us. I do not know where the Storm's giants' allegiance lie. I do not know where King Hecaton is. I do not know what kind of person Sarissa is. I only know that my job is to protect this city. And I know your anger. I know
And
that...
Sarissa is under my protection. I brought her here for the same reasons, and I will risk my life to do so.
That is very noble of you, my knight. Or brave knight, she says, not her knight. Sarissa will also speak up and say, I truly mean no harm to anyone here. This isn't how I planned for my meeting with all of you to be, but I want to fix things just as bad as you. She will look to you again, Warrendale, and say, things are not always black and white. They are rarely black and white. It is mostly just different shades of gray. Klauth, as you have called him out as, of course I know who he is. Of course I know what he can be. But do you think I would be so foolish to let him in a city unchecked? Dragons aren't even allowed in this city unless they speak to... Shit, I don't have it in front of me. Give me a second here, I gotta find the fucking thing's name. We're going off the charts here for what I was ready for. Oranax. Any dragon needs to speak to Oranax before they can even gain entry here. So that very fact means that Klauth is in check at all times while he is in Waterdeep. And while I can understand why you would not think that he maybe is the most reputable of persons, one thing he is good at is economy and business. I do not think that he is necessarily a good person, and I am not foolish. But he has done nothing wrong here. Your friend, attacked him, a masked lord of Waterdeep.
And he attacked our friend, the queen of the giants.
He revealed her.
You
Kidnapped
knew who
my
she
other
was
friend
anyway.
too.
Vajra speaks up and says, listen, don't get me wrong. I seen through that disguise the second she walked in here, and I was seconds away from doing it myself. When a giant walks in disguised into the center of Waterdeep, of course we're gonna have questions and defenses. Don't be so foolish.
And would you have let her gain entrance if you knew who she was to begin with?
Doubtful.
Exactly. Then none of this would have happened to come through. So what does it matter?
It looks
Why
like
don't we get on with what we need to do? We're trying to help.
And what do you want to do to help?
We're looking to fix this whole situation. Most of you are too busy worrying about the economy, apparently, and what is going on here, and letting and not letting dragons into the city. You have important things to do, and so do we. We're trying to help this young lady find her father, trying to help save this city while you're busy running it.
Give a persuasion check.
24.
You're a man with venom in his tone and much anger inside you, but your eyes. She makes direct eye contact with you and speaks into like your soul. You feel like she just stares through you. Your eyes say something very different. Your eyes say that your cause is true and that you very much wish to help this situation. That is very brave of you, for you are just one small chink in this very long chain. And to go against those odds takes a very good person.
I've been called worse. But yes, we do wish to help. And we are trying to do so, but we can't. We're dealing with people like yourselves, hindering us at each movement. Maybe not you directly, but you just sort of glance at old Snarl across the way. He only did this to... I mean, you all knew who she was anyway. He only did this to open a fight and to egg my friend on. You might want to keep him in a bit more check in what you do. But if we can help, the city was mine. I grew up here just as much as the rest of you. Just, I don't want to see it ruined either.
So at this moment, you hear the wagon kind of go, you know what I mean? Like, and it all shifts as Wright gets up off of the wagon and walks up behind Warrendale. And again, he's probably at least a foot taller than you are.
Probably more.
Yeah, probably more. And he puts his hand on his shoulder and he goes, I don't know any of you. I really don't care to know any of you. But this is the first sense this man has spoke since I've met him. Can we stop all of this and move forward so we can stop from this world being destroyed?
Well, I think at the very least we can stop with the weapons drawn. She'll raise her hands up, and within an instant, all the guards, Vajra, and everyone backs down without a second's hesitation. And
I'll drop my hammer, but can I drop it on Snarl's toe?
Sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't even flinch.
That fucker.
You're so spiteful, it's awesome.
I'll put it away.
And
Well, my friend back.
she would say, at the very least, I think we should talk about this. Like you said, none of this would have ever happened if we didn't find ourselves in this exact line of fate, in this exact moment where these events precisely happened the way they did. So this moment is happening for a reason. I think we should figure out why.
Can I cast freedom of movement on Sarissa?
She is already, the spell's dropped on her.
I see.
Okay, all aggression, or defensive, I guess we should call it, has been dropped. Sarissa comes forth and is now kind of stuck in her form, and she is like a giant. She's like a giant amongst a bunch of little people.
Okay, in that case, I'll just add the fuck out of Snarl.
But she obviously is. As you go forth, Snarl says, "Well, it seems like we had a grave misunderstanding here. I was just worried about the safety of Waterdeep. As you can imagine, I seen that she was not true to her true appearances, but I, speaking to her beforehand, felt that she was true to her heart. It hurts me. It hurts me very, very deeply.
Want my friend back.
That my friends here do not see my intentions as to be true and just. And I, first and foremost, would like to apologize to Mr. Wren here for any misunderstandings we've had." And he'll hold his hand out to handshake you.
Yeah, no. I'll be like, I want my friend back. Charlton Heston this shit and be like, no, I want my friend back, but under my breath, so nobody else can hear me except him. Ha!
Yeah.
I'm not shaking your hand. Don't even say my name. Bitch!
Well,
I'm not saying any of that, it's just my eyes.
I guess some people hold on to grudges a little harder than others. Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll walk away. Miss Silverhand, I apologize for any ruckus I might have caused. But, like I'm sure you understand, we needed to make sure that Miss Sarissa's intentions were true. And then she would say, Klaus, I understand what you're saying, and with all due respect, I would like to speak to these individuals now. So, everybody else, you're free to go. They all kind of question, like, we're going to just leave you here with these, 6 individuals? Or 5 individuals? What is it? 4 plus Sarissa? I will see. I will get to the bottom of this. And everyone begins to leave. Vajra says, well, Silverhand, if you're going to be talking to them, I better get detailed notes on what they're saying, because I'm definitely curious. You guys are nuts. I think for a second you even stood a chance. We could have disintegrated you on this very spot. You're bold. I'll give you that much.
None of you are my enemies, but he has my friend. Hest.
They'll all begin to leave. And Silverhand will say, come, we will talk now. And I don't know if she has the spell, but I don't care if she has it or not, because I'm pretty sure she's a fucking archmage. So she's going to cast the Magnificent Mansion and say, come and talk to me in my private quarters. And we'll summon up a spiritual or like this arcane door in the middle of the courtyard. And open up the door, and it actually is like double doored, large enough for Sarissa to fit into it now, and we'll show you into the most luxurious of grand entryways. There's these beautiful glittering white crescent moon staircases that come up towards just encasing this massive golden / diamond chandelier. There's these big pillars that just seem to go on for infinite, and she'll bring you to like down this hallway that just seems to go on and on and on. There's no room to it, and eventually she picks just a door at random, it almost feels like, and opens up into this common room. Calling it common by any means would be kind of doing an injustice, because any kind of necessity that you could ever dream of, the most comfortable seats, the most beautiful of desks, all of it is in this area. And she sits you down and says, "So, you want to get to the bottom of this issue at hand. Tell me, how do you mean to do so?"
Octavius gaining composure since having Snarl out of the room. We'll just basically sit down in front of her, look her in the eyes, and explain absolutely everything that's happened. Not holding anything back. Completely open book, all the way up until what's happened and where they're planning on going, trusting her ultimately.
Yeah, and Sarissa will do the same kind of thing. She takes your lead. We don't have to roleplay through that all, because we've all kind of like covered it anyways. But you all lay it out on the table to her, and Silverhand takes it all in, just not even asking a question. She just kind of sits there with her arms crossed on her chest, sitting in this big like cushion chair at the end of a long table where you all sit around. Sarissa actually kind of comically is sitting on a chair that is actually sized towards her, but the rest of the table is your size, so she's just like towering above you all, just sitting in this common room. And after, I imagine, many hours of, or maybe like an hour of speaking, everything is laid forth. And she says, "So, the last lead that you have is in Yartar."
Yes.
"On this Grand Dame. I've actually been formally invited to Lord Dryland's Grand Dame many a times, but I'll admit, it's all a bit too much for me. Not something I'm very interested in. When I like to play with the fates of chance, I like it to be more meaningful than just simple change." "What is this mail you have, Wanda?"
Sorry.
But I think your causes are all true, and I do believe that you are here for a reason. The story that you have told me, the things that you have survived, this is all leading up to something, and perhaps you are the ones that could stop this. I will see you to Yartar.
It's not somewhere I really want to go. Maybe I should not actually come into the town with you. Maybe not anywhere even close.
Whatever issues you have with that area, I think you are an integral part of this group. I think you are all connected pieces to one larger thing, and to remove one of those pieces would be to remove the whole picture. I think you must face whatever worries you in that town. It all started with you, Octavius. You told me your story. That golden chip. If you would have never came across that, then this all would have been for naught. Clearly, your place in this is much larger than the outskirts of the town. Clearly, your friends will need you. Perhaps the world needs you.
Octavius will just stand there silently looking at her.
Getting on the Grand Dame is no easy admission for most people, but I will see to it that you are esteemed guest. You'll be admitted under VIPs of Miss Silverhand herself. I'm sure that a recommendation from me will be more than enough to get you on that ship. But I do ask that you maybe use a little more caution and... what is the word I'm looking for? She actually says she says the word, but for some reason I am blanking out. But she basically asks you not to bustle in there and guns ablazing.
More reservation.
Yeah, reservation.
I'm not so sure that this lot is going to be able to do that. There, ma'am.
I'm aware of that, but please just don't kill anyone innocent or anything. And maybe before you launch destructive waves at one of the most powerful dragons in all of the Faerun, you maybe ask yourselves if a diplomatic approach would maybe be more suitable. You know, that's all I'm asking for. I don't know what's going on in the Grand Dame. I don't know how this links into all of it, but I think that it's you that will figure it out. I will have one of my associates escort you to an area and expedite your travels by an exponential amount, we'll say. And then from there, I will leave that fate into your hands. Like you said, us here at Waterdeep, we're more worried about the economy, as you so bluntly and simply put it. Running a city of this population is, I'm sure, an easy task in your grandiose adventures, but hundreds of thousands of people rely on us. And those hundreds of thousands of people rely on others, so yes, we will take care of this economy. I wish you the best of luck. If we don't hear from you, then at least we have more leads to go off of. But please, stay in contact. Let me know. If we could help you out further, then I will do so, because stopping this giant war is very high on our priority of things to do. Is there anything else you would need?
Safe rest and supplies, if anything you can spare.
Well, my mansion is yours to have for the night. Rest up. Enjoy whatever you need here.
Thank you. I can make pancakes.
Octavius is like, yes!
Is this place real?
In a sense.
For now.
Right.
I mean, it's a real part of the weave. It is real magic. It exists, and
That's what scares me.
and so it said. Supplies. What do you need?
Seems Dragon Friend has given us travel arrangements. We're supposed to be working on it, I suppose.
You really think he's gonna do that now?
Yeah, probably pissed him off a bit, but he'll get over it.
One thing I will tell you is that you just crossed Clouth. And while I have him very in check in this city, you just made a very powerful enemy outside of this city, and his reach is so much further than just Waterdeep.
And what happens the moment we leave the city?
You will be in grave danger. You have made a very powerful enemy.
So is there any way that you can make us go there instantaneously?
Like I've said,
Like,
your
Princess.
travel will be handled by me. It will be exponential. I will have an agent of mine meet up with you. She will escort you through the cities and deliver you to one of the teleportation circles that are hidden away here. You will be teleported to Yartar, but from there on out, it sounds like you will have many enemies, and you just made an additional one in the form of Clouth, the most powerful red dragon in Faerun.
He did. And he points directly to Octavius.
I'm just shaking my head like Octavius is like, what the fuck? Like, how come I'm the only one that's getting blamed for this? Like, we could have taken him, guys.
I'm not sure.
Don't you remember when we stole our stuff way back at the other place? Like, One
I don't
short.
know what you're talking about. I don't know anything of that.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you time. Rest. You seem like you've seen a very long day and at the very least a very long journey. Rest here. Think of what you need. Have a list ready in the morning at dawn. Within reason, obviously. I will see what I can do. And then my agent will escort you to the teleportation circle and see you to Yartar personally. From there, everything else is up to you.
Maybe you could work on something for our friend to hide a little better. And he looks over to Sarissa.
I mean, if you want, I could true polymorph her. But then she would be stuck in that form until I release it. Other than that, her polymorph is pretty powerful. You just got to remember that we are a higher level of arcane knowledge than most.
As long as there's none like you in the next place we go.
Clearly.
She thinks, I don't think there's any archmages in Yartar. Not to my knowledge. Well, I have many things to take care of. I have many explanations to give to many lords, and those lords have many explanations to give to those who they serve, and I have a whole entire district of a city to repair. Just the economics. Life is easy, isn't it, as a ruler of Waterdeep? She smiles. Good luck on your adventure, and please, stay in touch.
Thank you.
And she will show herself up and out and leave you into Silverhand's magnificent mansion. From there, you guys can rest. And is there anything that you want to accomplish in this before the long rest happens?
All right. So Reich would, at some point, kind of pull Octavius aside, and he would kind of.
You muted.
You muted yourself midway through that.
Oh, and he'd maybe pace in front of him for a few minutes, not looking like he really knows what to say. But at one point, he slides the mask up again, and he looks at him and he goes, "If you do something like that again, I'm gonna be the one that kills you."
You can try.
No,
We've already killed one dragon. We can
this
kill
is-
another.
This is not what it is. We didn't come here to kill dragons. We came here to end a calamity.
We came here to find my friend, and he has him.
And
We would do the same for your wife
Same
if she was still
information.
alive.
But you don't seem to understand, Octavius.
Oh.
We got the same information from a different source. And sometimes you need to set a friendship aside, like I had to set my entire village aside because you showed up. Okay? Now, I am here with you to help in this calamity that is going to end the world. And one small person that turns into a dragon is not more important than all of this.
Everyone in this is important. The situation is not more important than any one of it.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, Octavius.
Our gods might.
It is, again, very unfortunate that your allegiance to a thief is more than to your party. And he walks away from you.
Anything?
Octavius was kind of stew. You pissed. Especially since really Reich hasn't spent much time building bonds with anybody. But he wouldn't really fire back. You realize that calming down at the situation would be more than getting fired up again.
Anything else before the long rest goes off?
Yeah, because I'm building relationships now because I have to. He would also find Warrendale, and he just looks at him and he goes, "It's good to be different. Thank you for making it so we didn't die today." And he goes off to wherever he was told he's able to sleep, and he does that. He doesn't even wait for Warrendale to answer it.
Warrendale builds +1 bond.
Yeah, I mean, it's made him like him a little.
Me and Octavius will swap places.
Yeah,
Warren's rubbing off on him a little.
Is now become on a shit list, and you're kind of not so there so much right now.
Anyone else want to accomplish anything before the long rest goes off? Livy can make the most bomb pancakes known. Like the type of flours that this mansion has, it's like you didn't even know there was so many different types of flour. There was like cake flour, there was like supreme cake flour, there was like supreme cake flour with pixie dust and magic sparkles in it. Like you make the craziest pancakes you have
I've
ever
heard
made.
of Red Bull commercials giving wings, but this pixie flower really seals the deal.
A matter of fact, give me a performance check right now.
Oh goodness, please. I might. Is this a use inspiration moment or not?
You get your proficiency. You get your proficiency bonus if you don't have it with this, because you're an astute.
14. That's not terrible.
It's up to you. You do have inspiration. You can spend it.
I do.
You probably have it
man.
stockpiled.
Oh,
You only have
man.
1, yeah. 14's pretty good. It's up to you.
Yeah, only got 14.
All right, you make some bomb pancakes as per usual.
All right. Oh yeah, I can get an extra +2 there, right?
Yeah,
So 16 technically, but anyways.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they're very good pancakes as per the norm.
And she showed restraint a little bit. Like if anyone's in the kitchen with her, she's making stuff like, I was thinking about asking for like a haversack or a bag of holding because seriously, we should that would be so easy to have pancakes on the go because sometimes it's been depressing lately. I don't know about you guys, but this really is the only comfort that I seem to have now. So she's just doing that, rambling off and whatnot, just like. Oh,
And as we're maybe sitting around eating, he go, "Is there any way we can get one of these?" Points to like everything around us.
That would be really nifty. I've heard of, and she'd go off on this like tangent about like never hearing about this one wizard who made like a little tower majigger in which it would shrink down to like all carryable little memorabilia and then like stick it on the ground and boom and grow. I don't know who it was, but man, that would be so nifty right now with this kind of thing. Like imagine the comfort we'd have. We'd at least have something secure.
Yeah. But like, yeah, after a while.
Which leads to, that reminds me of my one friend who has an aunt.
Yeah, and he says, yeah. He looks at you, eats like the last couple bites of pancakes, doesn't say any word to anybody else, and goes, "You talk a lot." It just officially goes off to his quarters. And...
It's what I do when I'm in my element.
Absolutely. You guys, anyone else need to accomplish anything? Then you long rest and you're woken up in the morning by
to the mansion disappearing and us being evicted.
By a robed figure that Warrendale. You feel going through your pockets in your sleep. A hand is reached in and starts trying to like rifle through. I guess it'd probably be your bag, which is over on the side of you. Actually, it's probably more
It's my pocket. I was going to ask him if he felt anything big in there.
No, not at all.
I'm a grower, damn it, not a shower.
You wake up and see a figure rifling through your bags in the breaking dawn of morning.
So I just roll over and sit up a bit. There ain't much in there, but perhaps I can help you find what you're looking for.
The figure spins around, kind of cloaked, and you can't really see their face, but a female voice speaks up and says, well, I was just looking to see where you kept the pair of balls that were big enough to fucking attack the goddamn Blackstaff and Silverhand of Waterdeep. And you recognize the voice. She peels back her cloak, and you see the brown hair and familiar eyes of Belladora. And she says,
I love it.
it's been a long time. Seems like you guys are up to the same old bullshit of getting into far more trouble than you could ever handle. Looks like I'm the one here to bail you out.
Excellent, you can join us. I wouldn't mind having somebody like yourself around.
Join you? Fuck no. I'm working for Silverhand or Blackstaff. You think I'd go off with you guys and get into the shit that you're gonna get into? Not a fucking chance. But I meant...
You should grow a pair of balls then.
Nah. I'm good. I
That
got
would
that.
be smarter that way.
I got that kid to take care of. And he's speaking of Cyric, for those of you who remember. But yeah, I heard that you were in town. Well, most people heard you were getting into town, but you made quite a name for yourself. Pissed off Klauth. Attacked Blackstaff. Some people say that you even casted a fucking spell at Blackstaff. Tell me how that went for you. Is that true? I just want to know. Do you have any scars or anything? And she starts going through.
Perhaps better stories for a better time. Should have seen their faces. Would have been priceless.
I would have paid more to see your faces, but whatever. I'll guide you, and we'll see you through to your next leg of the adventure. You guys must be getting close to the end of it now, right?
To be honest, I hope, but it's been a good time. Met many interesting folk.
She'll say, well, wake up the others. Maybe Olivia will have some of those famous pancakes that I miss so very much. That's about the only thing I miss, spending time with you guys.
Sadly, we ate them all last night.
Libby pops up. Pancake?
You ate them all? What the
Nicely.
fuck? That's the only reason that I fucking signed up for this guide gig was the pancakes. God damn it, I'm out of here. She jokes, but she'll wake you guys all up and say, hey, kind of do her reconnections with you and say that she'll be your guide. She'll show you through to the teleportation circle, but that is where we are going to end the session. Next session. What's that?
I don't think she's ever met Ray before.
No, definitely not. That was the sunny days.
Sunnier days.
No pun intended. But yeah, that's where we'll end the session. We'll pick up next time, and we'll teleport on through to Yartar and see where that goes. Anything else that you guys want to go? I'm gonna give you until the next session to come up with a grocery list. And depending on what you ask for, Silverhand has some long reaches, but we'll see if you guys get a little too greedy or not. And then we'll catch up with Belladora and teleport through. So thanks for watching, anyone that watched. Thanks for playing, guys. You definitely kept me on my toes on that one. This was not the chain of events that I was thinking was going to happen, but hey, it all worked out in the better anyways. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you around. Peace out and see you around.